I appreciate being back here. I haven't been back in this building in a minute, and I always feel good because one thing I'm reminded of every time I step in this SiriusXM building is that black women like me. The black women who work in this building, the security guards, I got downstairs. I came in and I said, hey, I'm going up to SiriusXM. She was like, ooh, is that hair real? And I said, yes, it is.
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact.
She was like, you got that curl and everything, baby. And
you do, because you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's a very, almost like a 1950s, 60s James Brown thing going on.
Do we like
it's a pompadour.
You like that?
Chrissy Pomps.
Chrissy Pompadour.
Yeah.
And so
I like it.
And so she hits me like, feeling nice. I said, yeah. And she was like, woo. And I heard it. She went, ooh, like that. And I was like, nice. This is great. And then I get up here to this floor, and I'm walking to the security guard, and and the one girl, the white girl, says he has to sign in. And then the black security guard standing up, the lady, she goes, you even make the pretty ones sign in?
Whoa!
And I said, whoa! I said, a woman downstairs said she liked my hand. She was like, there ain't nothing to hate about it, baby. And I was like, nice. And I just felt great.
Wow. And then you come in here, and Danielle, our intern, walks in, and she just goes like this. She goes like this. Hi.
Yeah,
that's it.
She doesn't care. She's not talking to me about my hair, about how handsome I am. She doesn't care. She's just in her white world.
Right.
In her dumb white world.
Right.
You want to be in black people's world.
You do.
That's the world that I want to live in.
And is this new? Or
That's why I've moved to the Bronx.
You moved to the Bronx?
No. Close, Westchester.
Westchester's the best.
Do you live in Westchester?
Of course I do.
Dude, let me tell you something.
What's your
First of all,
address?
let's talk for a few minutes here about property taxes. Let's talk about how, because here's the thing. Any old guy that yells at me about moving to Westchester or Long Island and saying, the property taxes, you got to pay those property taxes.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Right.
I do. But you know what? At least I'm paying for taxes for my property and for my kids to go into a school district that I like, that I kind of have a say in, and everyone's around. Because when I'm living in New York City, I'm still paying taxes, by the way. You pay 4% more living in New York City than you would in Westchester, Long Island. So there's that right there, okay? Whoa. So you could suck my ass, H&R Block.
That's right.
I know that.
That's right. Take that to the bank.
Yeah, take that to the bank.
Yeah.
And then you're paying for taxes of a city of some of these things I haven't approved.
No.
Some of these things, like for example, I'm parked right out here right now, and I told Travis we're going to do a little test right now. We'll do a little test because I'm paying 4% more taxes, still active New York City resident. To see, I'm paying for a police force. I'm paying for the rules to be enforced. That's what I'm paying for. Family safety. Now let's see. I'm parked outside this building in a commercial loading zone. And
you just went street parking for this morning.
I went street parking. I said, I'm not paying for the garage anymore because every time I pay for the garage, it's $90, and if I get a ticket, it's $60. So I'll win. I'll save money.
Chrissy discounts.
But exactly, Chrissy discounts. I have to discount because I'm paying high property taxes.
Right.
So I do have to save money somewhere.
Sure.
So I said, if my car doesn't get towed or ticketed, 4% taxes, not worth it.
Right.
Getting out of New York City. But if they come and tow my car, I'll say, well, at least the money that I'm paying right now, being a New York City resident, at least you're enforcing the law. Because nobody's been enforcing the law lately, and that's why I'm out.
It is. It's a terrible place, this New York City.
Seriously, dude.
It's horrible.
I mean, Travis lives in Staten Island.
It's horrible.
Grimes Hill. That's where I used to live.
And he brags about it.
And where Travis lives is nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Travis lives in an apartment complex where like all the wealthy people live. So it's a funny it's a funny thing to be like, ooh, Grimes Hill, and then you're like, yeah, I got a one Betty.
So you live in Westchester but also have New York City residence.
Well, no, I've just recently put an offer in on a home that hasn't been accepted yet in Westchester. So I'm already saying that I live there, but the offer can get rejected, and I can also do what I've done the past 5 houses I put offers in on, walked out after the inspection. I've gotten an inspection, said I'm not doing this, and the inspector said the house is fine. Everything's great. I'm like, yeah, but now that I've been in it for an hour, I don't want it.
Right. So you walk out, it's just you're not feeling the vibe anymore.
The first 5 minutes, what I like to do is I like to walk through a house fast.
Right.
And I go, this is it, do it, book it, let's go, offer.
This is a good house.
And then my family's like, wait. I'm like, no, do it, let's go. We gotta go.
Sure.
And then I go back in, and she just Jasmine makes me sit there in the house, and then I start to realize, oh, I don't want to live here at all.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's the house, or do you think it's you sitting still for an amount of time is always going to be a negative experience?
I think always going to be a negative experience. I think I always want to be in 10 places at once.
Okay.
And I think that I had a good life on Staten Island. I had a good mortgage rate. Shout out 2.8% mortgage rate.
Shout out to the 2.8.
Shout out to the 2.8ers. And I lived in Toad Hill, which is the equivalent of Grimes Hill. Toad Hill, Grimes Hill, very prestigious places on Staten Island.
That's nice.
I had a house there. I had
wow.
a pool.
Whoa.
In-ground, motherfucker.
Wow.
Yes, I had an in-ground pool.
Mike Boschetti lives not far.
Mike Boschetti, yes. I used to see Mike Boschetti walking up and down trying to eat squirrels on Ocean Terrace. So
that's great.
I used to see him. And I had it made, man. And then I said to myself, this. I said, you know what? Things are too perfect. I'm sitting still too much.
Right.
Let's get a little chaos in here.
Chrissy Chaos.
Let's Chrissy Chaos. Sunday nights. We've changed the time. We've changed the time. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock. Now it's mostly stand-up based podcast.
Well, I've seen the format. It's nuts. We'll talk about it.
It's a little different.
I like it a lot.
Views are down. Views are down. but that's okay. It's an adjustment period. That's okay.
Okay.
But listen.
Right.
So I said to myself,
right.
You know what?
Right.
You know what? There's not enough chaos, right? Things are good. I can easily make my mortgage payment here. Kids are in good schools. We got the pool. I need to move.
And the kids have friends.
Kids have friends. Everyone's set up for success now. We got to move.
We could, because now it's not just you. You could upend the children's life as well.
I said, listen. We got to get things moving.
Right.
So I said to myself, I come home one day and I say to Jazz, I say, listen to me. I don't like living here anymore. She was like, what are you talking about? We just renovated the kitchen. And I was like, I understand that. But I can't walk to a bagel store. And she was like, but you can drive to one. I was like, yeah, but I need to walk to one for my creative flow. I need to walk to one.
Oh, for your creative flow.
That's what I said. I said, I feel like my career's stalling. She was like, you have Radio City sold out. I was doing the show like 3 days later. This is 3 days before I do Radio City.
And it was sold out.
Sold out. Completely sold out.
That's a huge, for somebody to sell out Radio City sold out once, and that's the best thing they ever did, well, that means they had a great career.
And I'm not bringing that up to brag. I'm bringing that up because I'm going to get to, there's a point to me saying that.
None of this felt like you were bragging.
Yes. Okay. I did. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
This guy looks like Staten Island scum.
That's Mike.
So I bring that up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So because I had this is all happening in September of 2023. Now,
perfect.
September.
Oh, so you're fresh out the pandy, too.
Fresh out the pandy, Wendy, September 2023. Yeah. I have Radio City sold out on a Friday night. Very next night, theater at Madison Square Garden sold out Saturday night.
Right.
So this is a big New York moment for me, right? I'm a New York kid. This is like 10,000 tickets we have sold in a weekend. This is amazing.
In iconic venues. Now, this is Wednesday
of these shows are Friday, Saturday. Wednesday, I walk in and say, we're selling the house.
Perfect.
We're selling the house.
Perfect.
She was like, I don't think we should. I said, I need to walk to a bagel store. So she's like, all right, like, I don't know. So literally, I'm calling my real estate agent, who we had just bought the house from 18 months before that. I said, for sale sign, bring it over tomorrow. I want to get it going.
It's got a brand new kitchen.
She was like, didn't you guys just do the kitchen?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, property value just went up. She was like, that's true, but why do you want to move? I was like, are you going to put the house up for sale? Find the next person.
Yeah, am I going to have to explain the bagel store thing to you,
too? Like, I can't walk to a bagel store. You sold me a house. I can't walk to a bagel store. You're the asshole, not me. So
are there good bagel stores in Staten Island?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just drive. How long is the drive, would you say?
It was. I actually timed it because I will get to the point of the last 2 years of my life have been miserable.
No.
And my life has been turned upside down. And it's all obviously connected to these decisions that I made in 2023.
Interesting.
But the bagel store, and here's how good that bagel store was. Yeah. I've now driven multiple times from my house in Queens back to that bagel store on Staten Island because I missed the bagels, which is a 2-hour drive with traffic.
So, good bagels.
Good bagels, though. That I was from my house on Staten Island to this bagel store that I loved. It was a 80-second drive.
Right.
80 seconds.
80 seconds.
Yeah, 80 seconds. That's with traffic and stoplights. If I did it in the middle of the night, 30 seconds.
30 seconds drive.
So anyway, I do these shows, right? We sell the house. Okay, we moved from a 5-bedroom home with an in-ground pool on Staten Island to a 2-bedroom apartment in Queens.
Perfect.
The movers.
That's probably easy for the kids too. They're like, oh, this is how we're gonna live now.
Well, the kids. My oldest daughter thought it was like a weekend thing. She thought it was fun. Like she thought I was joking. Like she was like, oh, like she was telling her brother. She was like, Daddy's doing like a thing where we moved everything into this, and then we live here, and then we'll move back. Like, she didn't understand. She was like, we're going back to my old school in Staten Island. And I was like, no, we're not. We're in a new school.
How old is she?
She's 9 now. She was 7 back then.
So at 7 years old, she was like, well, this is too absurd of a premise for an adult to do. Clearly, this is a joke.
She was like, this is a bit. This is a bit. Like, dad's friends with comedians. Like, this is a bit.
Right.
And so she... So anyway, so we moved to a 2-bedroom apartment.
Perfect.
Even the movers who moved us from our house on Staten Island to this apartment, the guy goes, did something mess up? Well, and I go, well, no, what do you mean? He goes, but you had that house. Why are you living here? And I was like, oh, because we're renovating an apartment building across the street, which was true.
Okay.
We had bought an apartment building, a duplex apartment across the street. So it was a nice 4-bedroom, 2-floor apartment, because I said I got bagel stores everywhere. I can walk to the train.
You love bagels.
Love bagels. I can walk to the train. I'm living back in Queens where I was raised. I'm close to Citi Field. Okay, we can do everything we need to do.
We love the Mets.
Love the Mets. So I said we can do everything we need to do.
Right.
So, but the mover was like, oh, so you were moving? You got another apartment? So you moved from that house to that apartment? And I said, yeah. And then he goes to me, you trying to get a divorce? And I was like, no, it's going to be good. Going to be good. He was like, all right. So like, and then we left. And then literally, we got it. And I'm trying to sell this. I'm like, this is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And then we realized that I have 3 kids. So one of my stepson had his own room. Then my daughter and her little sister had the other room. And then I realized that the bed our bed wasn't going to fit in the 3rd room.
Sure.
So we had to have our bed in our living room. So we went from a 5-bedroom, fully renovated home to now our bed's in our living room. And then the number one thing that is not okay with my fiance, the number one thing that is not okay with her. She's from Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Okay, grew up in what she considers the hood, even though I respect Puerto Rican people. Shout out to EI. Mm-hmm. She calls it the hood. She's Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. She cannot handle roaches. Cannot handle roaches. Can deal with mice all day. Roaches, it's a trigger from her childhood. She cannot handle it.
Okay, she grew up, yes.
The very first night.
Right.
I'm talking about night numero uno. Spanish-speaking audience.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Sunset Park. Numero uno. We are sleeping on our bed in the living room.
No.
And a roach crawls across her forehead.
On the bed, on the forehead.
On the forehead.
Do you know the level of infestation that has to go on for a roach to be so brazen? They're like, well, I have to get from point A to point B. Let me just cross this forehead.
On the forehead. And I swear to God, she, in the middle of the night, screams. She goes, there's a roach on my head. And my 7-year-old daughter woke up. She goes, it's probably just one of Daddy's bits. Yeah,
like a prank roach.
Yeah, like a prank.
April Fools.
Yeah, April Fools. So within 24 hours, my life turned upside down. And then to make all
and whose fault was it?
I'm going to say the real estate agent on Staten Island. Yeah. So then in 24 hours, my life gets turned upside down. Now to make matters even worse, that all happened. We moved out on a Friday, right? Middle of the night, Friday night, roach crawls forehead. Because we've had to talk about this in therapy. Not forget, you've neglected.
Why would you have to go to therapy?
Okay, we're going to get to that. I neglected to tell Jasmine that at 8 o'clock that morning, when she's here in the roach-infested apartment now, from the beautiful 5-bedroom house with the bed in the living room, that I'm getting on a flight at 10 a.m. because I have shows in Vegas. So I have a show at the Cosmopolitan in Vegas, and I won't be home till Tuesday.
And you had neglected to mention that?
I neglected to mention that. And so I'm getting up. I'm like, I got to go to the airport. And then Jasmine goes, now that better be one of your bits.
Oh, God.
And I said, hon, I forgot to tell you and that I have a show in Las Vegas. And she was like, well, you need to cancel it. And I was like, well, the thing is I can't cancel it because the money that we're making, I actually need to, because I actually sold the house for less than it was worth. I made a mistake.
You sold it. Yeah. You did not make money on the house?
I did not make money. So I said I kind of messed up here. So everything's going to be fine.
Buy high, sell low.
I just got to go to Vegas. I have to go to Vegas. And she's like, but the show is tonight, Saturday. Why are you coming home Tuesday? I said, because the hockey team, the Knights, the Vegas Knights, I said, they've asked me to stay an extra day because, like they have like this wheel that they have people spin, and they're going to have me spin the wheel to start the show. It's like a big siren, and it gets the crowd going. And she was like, and you're going to stay an extra day to spin the wheel at a Vegas Knights game. Well, we're still in this roach-infested apartment. And the whole life got turned upside down. I was like, yeah, I got to spin the wheel.
I promised that I'll spin the wheel.
I promised I spin the wheel.
I gave my word.
I gave my word. I can't back out. And she goes, if you go and spin that wheel.
Oh, my God.
On Vegas Nights, she goes, there's a 99% chance me and your children will not be here when you get back. Oh Just know that.
We're gonna buy our house back for more money than we sold it for.
We won't be here. And she said, and so I got back. I didn't do it.
You didn't do the wheel?
I did not spin the wheel. Because what I did is I traded. I said, can I spin the wheel in 2 weeks? So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Jasmine to Vegas in 2 weeks as like an impromptu trip. Hey, I'm sorry, but then I'll spin the wheel. And whatever.
But now you're going back to Vegas on your own
Going back to Vegas. Well, what happened was, and then 2 weeks later, I got COVID, and I had to cancel the whole thing.
Okay, all right, perfect.
So we still haven't spun the wheel.
Okay, that's still something we're working on.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2023.
And my career's been going down. So now, now I can't spin the. Now I'm not even on the list.
It's not invited to spin the wheel.
Can't do it
No. No, you got a lot of buzz at that point.
Yes. So then I dealt with a woman for all of 2024, and I'm not making this up. This is 365 days in a row. I dealt with a woman who cried herself to sleep every night.
For a year, for 365 nights.
And it was funny, on New Year's Eve of 2024, I said, you made it. You made it every night.
Every night
you cried. And she was like, yeah. So, and then we went through therapy, and the therapist actually...
When did you start therapy?
We started therapy, so I moved that house. We moved into the apartment September 28th. 2023, and we started therapy October 1st, 2023.
That's quick.
Yeah, so 3 days later. Yeah. We started that 3 days later. Okay. So what our therapist has told us is what happened that you displaced your anxiety. You didn't know you had so much anxiety about Radio City and Theater at MSG. That's why I brought it up.
Yes.
You had so much anxiety about these shows being perfect because you're a perfectionist, and we've worked on this. You literally couldn't put the anxiety on that situation. So what you did is you displaced it and you moved it onto selling a house. So now you're not thinking about Radio City and Theater at MSG, which she was right. Right before I'm going out on Radio City, I'm texting the real estate agent, do we got offers? and they're bringing me out. Right. And I'm like, we got offers.
So now you're not even thinking, because this moment is so big for you.
Yes.
Stand-up is something that, I mean, as long, I've known you for
15 years.
Yeah. And this is all you've been working towards. Mm-hmm. It's happening.
Yep.
And not only is it you need it to go perfectly, but just the gravity of the moment that, holy shit, this is actually happening is so massive that instead of dealing with it, you upended your whole family and sold your house.
100%. That's why I did it.
Interesting.
And so now we've been and then so we move out of that roach-infested apartment. And
why?
Because there was roaches on our foreheads.
Gotcha.
And then the house. Remember that little piece of the apartment that we had that I bought, the duplex that I bought.
Yeah,
that fell through too.
No.
Yes, that fell through too because they looked at my career and they said, we don't understand how you get money one month and then no money the next month. They said I'm Chrissy Chaos, baby. It's being a comedian. I buy, sell, and mover, a shaker. And they're like, that's fine. So because this is a co-op, and we need to see proof of funds. So we need to know that your maintenance is going to be paid on time. So the only way we're going to let you move into this house is you have to give us, ready for this, buckle up.
Okay.
10 years of the maintenance money up front.
Yes. 10 years?
10 years.
That's how much they had no faith in you.
I said, do I get interest on that? It'd be in the market.
Very
I said,
smart.
nope. It's just going to be an escrow. And this is the money that we have. And you will not get it. I said, okay. So in other words, 10 years of the maintenance up front, fine.
Crazy.
But it's a credit then. I'm not paying. You have the maintenance money. No. That's 10 years over here. You have to start paying the maintenance the first month.
So that we know, should anything happen,
we got 10 years on you. You'll only get that 10-year maintenance money back when you sell.
That's insane.
So I said, I guess we're not going to do it. And the co-op people go, I guess you're not.
Oh, they were
They
putting
didn't
that
want me in there.
Oh.
They didn't want me in there. So
that's the trap door.
So then we move into. So now where we're currently living still is we've rented an old woman's home. that feels haunted. It feels like a home from The Conjuring.
Is she still in it?
She's not still in it, but she's a great lady. She really is a great lady.
Shout
but
out to her,
it is an old lady's home.
It is.
The positive news is you can walk to the bagel store. The negative news, it's not the bagel store I like.
No, that sucks.
The bagel store I like, I still have to drive to.
That sucks. Yeah, I'm sure the creative flow is all messed up now.
So we've went through a lot of pressure. We've went through a lot of hard times the last 2 years, all self-induced. But I've went through therapy. I've went through kratom therapy. I've went through I went through ketamine. And now we've come out on the other side to say, be happy with what you got, folks.
I mean, it's so crazy, though, that you make a split decision. Because I remember hearing you first say that I think you did like Rogan when you like just did it.
Yes.
That was the inexpensive sunglasses era, Chrissy.
That was clinically insane, Chrissy. Yes.
That was like I found some success.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and lose the plot entirely.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I mean, I can't imagine what happens next. This is insane behavior, and it's just amazing to me that like that one bad weekend of decisions leading to the greatest weekend of your career up until that point, because you got the Garden still coming.
Right.
But that one set of bad decisions, it put you back a year and a half.
It put me back a year and a half, and not only that, we moved the kids so quickly from Staten Island to Queens to give them this life, because we're like, oh, they'll just be raised in Queens now. My stepson will go to high school in Queens. My daughters will meet friends in Queens. And now, because of those quick decisions, we're like, oh, we don't want to live in Queens. No, why are we living in Queens?
Right, Queens is negative now.
Yeah, so we're like, I don't want to pay this money for this house in Queens.
No.
I don't want to pay 4% tax if you're not going to tow my car.
No,
we should go to Westchester on Long Island. This is where families go.
Westchester.
This is where families go to raise. So now, though, the decision is, so now it's like, it's not even financial. Now it's like spiritual. Now it's like, am I going to upend my kids' life again? Am I going to take them out of their schools again and put them in a new place yet again? So all these things have reverberated from that one bad decision.
Right.
And so now, one thing I've learned, even though I've said it publicly here on the radio, one thing I've learned is to keep the circle small and not and not ask a million people for their opinions, because then you will get paralyzed. Because I was doing that for a lot in my life.
Right.
Everybody's decision, and then somebody would tell me, hey, you should do this. I'd be like, that's what I got to do.
Boom.
But then the next I'd be like, you know what? I'd do the opposite. And I'd be like, well, now I can't move.
Sure.
So now I just say, I'm going to do what I feel is best for me and my family, and we're just going to move forward. And I'll handle whatever else happens.
Right.
That's what I've done. So I think what would be best for me and my family is to actually kill myself and let them get the inheritance.
That is.
So then they can have the money, and then they don't have to deal with me.
But make sure you do it after the Garden show, because that's a big money gig.
Well, here's a little asterisk I'd like to make to that Garden show. We're moving it to the theater. The tickets weren't necessarily exploding, so we're just going back to the theater.
The theater's great.
Now listen, I got 4,000 sold out of 12,000.
That's crazy
in the arena, which is not bad. Hey, listen to me.
You selling 4,000 tickets?
Not bad.
Crazy.
The show's not till September. Now, in hindsight, September 11th probably wasn't a good move.
That's all right. It's Chrissy Chaos.
People have said,
it's on brand.
What? The overwhelming response I've gotten from people have been, want to see you, buddy. Don't know I can support a comedy show and laugh on 9/11.
Okay.
And I was like, fair. I said, what if I was going to give some money, some of the proceeds to first responders, like it's a 9/11 themed show. They're like, I know, but I just, I'm not going to go. It's 9. If it was 9/12 or 9/10, I would have went.
But I'm not going to go like, hey, you want to come with me to this comedy show at the Garden in Manhattan.
Right.
It's on 9/11.
I'm doing it from ground zero.
Yeah.
So what happened, though, is we haven't made the official decision yet. And my agent actually told me to come on here and don't mention anything about the Garden moving to the theater. But you know what it is? It's already happened.
I mean, look.
We're live, right?
We're live.
What can you do?
What can you do? What can you
do? It happened, Mikey B. It happened.
Big
Don't
deal.
have me go on the radio then. It's like the same thing as like, if you want me to stop eating dog food, stop making it fucking taste so good.
Right.
And look so good on these commercials.
We've known each other for how long?
15 years.
You're going to come in here and lie to me?
I'm not going to lie to you, baby.
No.
I know
we're having a real conversation.
I known you since you had hair.
Right. Right, and you still do. It's the best it's ever looked.
And that's why the black ladies, you just walk right past them.
They love it.
They say, yo, your hair real.
That's right. They do say that.
So we're going to maybe move it, possibly.
But maybe not.
If you've bought a ticket, though, to the theater, to the Madison Square Garden, I want to say thank you very much. You're coming to the same building, baby, on September 11th, except going upstairs. We're going to go downstairs.
Big deal.
You're just going to go to that basement, boo-boo.
Big deal.
It's still 6,000 seats down there.
But by the way, or if there's an influx today, Oh.
100%.
We just sold a ton of tickets now.
100%.
And by the way, it's not until September. That's a long way away.
Long way away. So, but, it is one of those things I do kind of feel like if you're going to do the arena at Madison Square Garden, you got to do it like my man Tom Segura did it on Saturday.
You were just there on
Saturday.
I
opened up for Tom Segura on Saturday. He had that shit sold out for months. Nate Bargatze's doing it, added a show. Matt Rife adding a show. You got to do, if you're going to kind of scratch and claw and get there, you're not ready yet. Go back down to the theater, folks.
Right.
It's no slight to still be able to do 5,000-6,000 in your hometown.
Bro, by the way, something has happened with comedy.
Right.
Where they're like, no, if you're not playing arenas, that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
No.
That should be like the weird outlier thing.
Yes.
Comedy was designed to grow and grow and grow until when you hit your peak.
Yes.
Theaters.
So that's where you should be living. That's what you should be doing. And I would love
these two bears, one cave convinced everybody otherwise.
Unbelievable, dude. It's crazy. And I got to be honest with you. I am happy that I had the opportunity to open up for Tom Segura last night. I followed Redman.
I saw that.
Who was calling Tom Segura Tom Cigar. and dead serious said, yo, I love this man, Tom Cigar. I've been listening for years.
Yeah.
Like, it's Tom Cigar.
Cigar.
And so he had no, obviously. So we told Redman, I introduced myself to Redman. I said, myself and Joey Coco Diaz are the openers. So, Redman, you're going to go up, do your thing. And then. What
did he do?
He sang he did like some of his old school songs.
Oh, that's
15
great.
minutes. So it was great. He killed.
That's awesome.
And then I said, and then Redman said, I got you. And then Tom Segura's team said, listen, the lights are going to go down. And then Tom from the back is going to bring up Chris. So all you do, Redman, is you do your set, say goodnight to the crowd, thank you, and that's it. He goes, got you. So Redman does his song, and then at the end of his song, he goes, now, y'all ready for the man you came here to see?
Okay, no.
Y'all ready?
No.
And then he goes, give it up for my man, Tom Segura. And so Tom had to get on the Voice of God mic and say, no, Redman, no, it's not time yet. We got the openers. And then Redman comes downstairs and goes, yo, I forgot about y'all. And then gave us both pounds.
Right.
Didn't stay for the show, got in his car and left.
Didn't
come to the dinner, just walked out. And I respect him for that. But what I want to say is I'm happy that I was able to do that show to open up for Tom and hit the stage at MSG because I had no pressure. I had zero pressure on me. Where even when I did Radio City and theater at MSG in 2023, before I sold the house, I don't even remember it. It was like a blur because I was so nervous about where this 15 minutes, do your hits, then I get to watch Tom Segura do his thing.
Yeah.
Brought up Joey Coco Diaz.
Oh.
I felt every second of Saturday night. I felt like, wow. So I'm almost thankful in a way because it's looking like it's not going to happen for me at the Arena 9/11. It will happen in the theater. So it's looking like I got to touch that stage.
And by the way, maybe you will again.
And maybe I will again. Here's the good news. The good people at MSG have told me, hey, listen, you move it to the theater, it's all good. This doesn't affect your chances of getting to do the Arena again. It's just about tickets. I had my manager at the time thought that I could do the Arena at Madison Square Garden and also Forest Hill Stadium, which is 14,000 seats, on the same day.
He's on the same day.
So we would call that is an oversell. That's what we'd call that one. Because I'm sitting at 4,000 tickets right now. He thought I could do 40,000. So what your boy's going to do is I'm going to go back to the theater. And here's the good news. If I go back to the theater, now I can come up. I can play Tarrytown Music Hall in Westchester.
I love Tarrytown.
I could do the Paramount in Long Island. I could do Count Basie in Red Bank, New Jersey.
These are great venues.
We could do all what we like to call the tri-state area.
We love the tri-state area.
I could come back to the tri-state area, folks.
Yes.
Where I couldn't if I was just doing the Arena. Everybody in the tri-state would have to come see me.
Oh, that's
contractually obligated. Can't perform within 90 miles if you got a show on at MSG. Unless you sold it out, but I wasn't going to sell it out.
You weren't?
So now, I was not.
Okay.
But now if we move downstairs, if we go downtown to the theater, now we sell that out. We're already sold out at the first configuration of the theater at MSG at 4,000. I could just fucking lob it off there and say, you know what, we're done. That's what you see. That's my New York show. Boom, September 11th. But guess what? September 15th, come see your boy, Tarrytown Music Hall. Come see your boy, Paramount, Long Island, Count Basie.
That's great.
Foxwoods.
Plus, you don't have to worry about.
Yes.
the theater at Madison Square Garden is a huge gig, and you have to worry about it because you already sold 4,000.
4,000. You know what? Sabrina Carpenter will be upstairs. I'll be downstairs.
Big deal. That's Sabrina Carpenter doing her thing. You know who I saw at the theater at Madison Square? Ricky Gervais.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
And it's like, it's already, dude.
It's better.
Here's the thing. Have I already not fulfilled my New York City dreams? Radio City already did it. Theater MSG already did it. 2 Puerto Rican kids already did it.
Already did it.
I'm New York, baby.
You're as New York
Live by
as
the
it
bagel
gets.
store.
Right.
Look at my fucking hair.
You got the Islanders logo on your jacket, but it's like the 94 Islanders logo.
Exactly.
95, like the Fisherman logo.
I have to do the arena? Let Tom Segura do it.
He'll have a blast.
That's it, dude.
At the time of his life up there.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
You know, man. And we'll do a Staten Island thing. You know, like when we do the theater at MSG. You know, Tom Segura at Redman. I'm going to have fucking...
Right.
I'm going to have, you know...
Sure.
Mike Bichetti.
Mike Bichetti.
Yeah, I'll have Mike Bichetti open.
Yeah.
I'll have...
He'll be flossing squirrel out of his teeth. You know?
Yeah, dude. I'll have Ghostface Killer come out.
Ghostface
from the
will come out.
Wu-Tang.
You kidding me?
Why not? I'll have Little Mo Mozzarella come out.
Right.
And start throwing semolinas at people.
Right.
Why not?
Why not? Have a great time.
I gotta, you know, so.
Plus, it's you, it's Chrissy Chaos.
Right. But with that being said, you know, and I also do have to move it for financial reasons because I don't know how I'm going to afford those property taxes in Westchester.
Right.
So if I'm not selling tickets, because the thing is, here's the thing: if you don't sell all those tickets at MSG, you're going to lose. You're not only going to lose money, you're going to owe them money.
Right.
So it's like, no, dude, why don't we just all? Because
imagine selling 5,000 tickets. You're playing at Madison Square Garden. Everything's good, and you're like, yeah, you owe us money.
Yeah. And that's the other thing.
Sucks.
I got to feel like a loser for selling 5,000 tickets. Come on.
That's a bad.
Can't do it, dude.
Nope.
Can't do it.
That's a bad spot for comics to be in. To somehow be convinced that you're less than because 5,000. Are you kidding me?
Come on.
5,000.
Go back. Negative.
Go back to the old days. Remember when you sold out a weekend at a club?
That's it, dude. I did comedy for 8 years before I'm talking about headlining on the road. First thing I ever did headlining on the road, 2014. I went till 2021, so 7 years. 7 years. However many weekends that is in a row, maybe 300 weekends in a row, not one sold out show. The very first time I ever sold out one show was 2021.
Did you get nervous before you would go to every club going like, holy shit, I don't think we're selling tickets? Like this is...
No, because you just start to accept. It almost would be fun. I would go the other way. If there were too many people there, I'd get nervous.
Because you're not used to
I'd be
this.
like, this is crazy. Yeah, I can't vote for all these people.
I think they have the wrong idea of who I am.
Remember my agent would give me these deals because the way it works with comedy is like you'll get a deal and they'll say, we'll give you this guarantee. And if you sell out, you'll get this. And I would always tell them, just cross out that if you sell out part. What's the guarantee? What are they guaranteed to, what am I guaranteed to make? Because I can't factor in on the off chance you sell out because it's not going to happen.
Right. Let's heavy up on the front side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So now you got a chance. Now I got chances. If I pick the right venue, I could sell.
Yes.
So it's good, dude.
It's great.
I feel like now I've been in the game long enough where I feel like I've now, to my fans, cemented a place where they'll fuck with Chrissy. If you're a fan 100%. Of mine, you'll come with me. You'll be okay.
And I think being unapologetically yourself.
Yes.
Has made it so you've got this fan base that is like, no, we love the chaos, we love Chrissy D.
That's who I am.
Yeah, that's just you leaned all the way in.
I do want to apologize to some people who did buy front row tickets at the arena at Madison Square Garden who are paying top tier to now see me at the theater.
But it's going to be a better show.
But it will be a better show. You're still in the front row. You'll be closer to me than you would at the arena.
Right.
But it's just what happened, and I have been told by Live Nation that I can't give you your money back. So, and that's on me.
That's what it is. But by the way, it is what it is also.
It is what it is. That did say right there in small print that these tickets are final at proof of purchase, and it's just what it is. And in the event he moves it, it's just you're going to have to just deal with that.
Yeah, has every decision you've made turned out great?
No. Hey.
No. So?
At least you guys have a house.
Right. Right. Remember that Staten Island house?
Yeah,
with the pool?
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember, and I sold, and here's another fun thing I did, is I sold that the actual handover of the house of when I sold that house was October 7th, 2023, and I sold it to a Palestinian family the day that Palestine invaded Israel, and all my neighbors in Toad Hill were Jewish. So
Bye.
So the doctor who lived across the street from me, I swear to God, sent me a text like a week later. He was like, literally October 7th, you moved in the people we're at war with across the street. And I was like, that's how I roll.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if we should be texting anymore. We're not neighbors.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah, they were calling them Hamas, but what can you do?
That's not your problem. What can you do anymore?
It's not confirmed they're Hamas. They were like, well, they have the flag outside the house. I was like, well, then it's confirmed they're Hamas.
Then
they are your neighbors.
But you should be texting them.
Yeah.
Not me.
That's what it is.
I'm in a 2-bedroom in Queens with roaches on our heads.
That's what it is. I got bigger problems, okay?
Yeah, I got a Puerto Rican that wants to divorce me.
Yes, exactly. And we're not even married, and she wants to divorce.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are engaged, though, now.
Congratulations on that. I think it's one of you and your fiance is one of the great love stories. I mean, I remember, because I knew you before you were with her.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming in.
You remember the chlamydia days.
I remember the Chrissy chlamydia.
Yes. Chrissy drip drop, as we call it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But
Danielle,
I remember
I've gotten even less attractive to Danielle, by the way, throughout this.
Well, sure, but you're honest.
But if you bring in the black ladies, unreal.
And that's what you got to keep. That's who you have to keep in your brain.
Yeah.
I remember you coming in, and I'll never forget that you told me, because I said it's a crazy thing that you just meet this girl, raw dog.
Yep.
And boom, pregnant. And you told me, and it was in a little studio at some random time slot doing whatever show I was doing back then. You said, I'm going to tell you, I met this girl. And there was something about her from the moment that I met her that I wanted to impregnate her.
Yes.
You said that way back then.
And it's true.
And look at you.
Look
at the life you've created with her.
And I want it and it's been beautiful because we were together for 2 years. Then we broke up. She started dating someone else. Nothing you can do.
Nothing. What can you do?
Started dating someone else. He was a good guy. I liked him.
Okay.
then we got back together in the pandemic. And then it was kind of like the first time, like I said, we hooked up, first or second date, had a baby. Pandemic, we've been split up for, 2-3 years. Pandemic, where my daughter got sick. This is early COVID days. Nobody knows. Like the doctors were coming in hazmat suits. We didn't know.
Right.
Doctor said you have to cohabitate together, even though you're co-parenting. You have to cohabitate together because we don't know germs. I don't know, like if you're about the safety of your daughter. Everyone hunker down together for 2 weeks. That's what the rules were back then. So it's okay. So I'm going to sleep on the couch. You sleep in the room. Whatever. We're co-parenting. Whatever. Great. So daughter gets better. My little daughter, my older daughter at the time gets better. Start drink a couple of glasses of wine. One thing leads to another.
Sure.
Have sex. Gets pregnant with our second daughter.
I mean, you're a potent guy.
So it was.
There's something about the two of you when you guys.
Oh yeah.
All you're gonna do is make it babies.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane how many kids we could possibly have had.
Yeah.
And so. But then after that, now we have 2 daughters and my stepson. I said, you know what? We got to do this right. And then so this year on January 6th, I was in the mood. Put the ring on the finger.
I love that. January 6th.
January 6th. I said, this was already a great day.
Let's take it back. Yeah, let's take it back. You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to get engaged on January 6th. Then I'm going to book the garden for 9/11.
That's what it is. Yeah. And there was some thought of getting actually married at my garden show on 9/11. Get engaged January 6th, but now because if we move to the theater, they don't have the capacity.
Okay.
to hold the wedding.
Sure. No, I get that. That's a different thing now.
If it was the arena, it could be a totally different thing. But we're going to do the theater. But and I said, you know what, man? January 6th seems like the right time to do it. And here's the thing. In hindsight, here's the thing.
Right.
I actually like it better this way because now my kids, right? They're a part of the wedding. They'll have memories. Every other kid, I heard about when mom and dad get married. I watch your tape. No, but you're going to be here.
Yeah.
Tristan, my stepson, you're going to be streaming this on Twitch.
Is he going to be on Twitch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah. He's going to live stream.
That's great. I'll sub.
Yeah. He's going to sub. And by the way, if you guys want to see my wedding live stream, you go to patreon.com/historyhyenas.
Oh, that's great.
For $10, you can be a part of it.
That's great.
Yes,
that's great. Are you going to have Giannis actually do the ceremony? That's smart.
Yes.
Smart.
Yes.
Keep the brand strong.
Yeah. And that's what happened, too. Ticket sales started to go down. I text Giannis, hey, want to be friends again?
Hey, Giannis, I'm thinking I'm a little too big for this History Hyenas thing. I got these sunglasses on now. Yeah. I think I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was incorrect about my previous.
Hey, MSG just called moving my show to the theater, so let's talk about Queen Elizabeth.
But it's a sound decision.
It's fun. And you know what it was with me and Giannis? We got back together. We said, because we were talking, we had a falling out, and then we started talking again over the years, right? Little by little. And then we were like, we had this great community. We'd want to do other things, fine. But I was like, what are we doing? We got if we did History Hyenas for 20 years, and 3 of them was this breakup period, it's like something to talk about. It gives it character.
100%.
And then we came back from day one, like like we never left. Like
That's
just
great.
Fully back. The episodes, I think, are better now on History Hyenas than they were back then because now we understand how to research. Now we understand the algorithm. Now we're like, we used to like it. A lot of the show used to be about, how crazy is Chris's life, and let's exploit that and make fun of that. But then we don't do that as much anymore. Now we keep it to the history, and we still do make fun of our lives.
Sure, but you have other projects to do.
Yeah, and like we just correlate it to history.
Sure.
So I think and now it's niche because now you know what it is, dude. Really, another podcast with two white guys just talking about nothing?
No.
Doesn't work.
No.
So we get very specific. So we have a smaller fan base, but they're mightier.
Yeah,
because they're
of
like,
course.
if you don't like history, the show may not be for you. My pitch, though, for people who don't like history is, do you want to have a fun fact at a party, though?
Right.
Listen to our show. You'll laugh along. We speak like a different language on the podcast. Like, you got to know the show. We say things and terms, and it's like, if you're not a fan, you don't know what we're talking about. So that's cool. It's like in-house, esoteric, like we're our little group here.
Yeah, community.
And then we give you a nice little fun fact. And you'll say, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
And that is the type of thing that you can convince people you read books and stuff.
Yeah.
When in actuality,
like, did you know that Ulysses S. Grant, Civil War general, hero, was drunk and dilapidated and penniless at the end of his life? And do you know who wrote his autobiography?
Who?
Just to give him some money?
Who?
Mark Twain.
Shout out to Mark Twain for doing that, by the way.
Shout
what
out
a
Mark
good
Twain.
dude.
Really good.
You know Nicole from the Morning Mashup is very sexually attracted to Ulysses S. Grant?
Really?
That's a true thing, yes.
Yes.
The old pictures of
I
him.
think you were going to say she's very attracted to me, and I would say, well, she's not a black woman.
That's right. So she can't. So no
Yeah,
good. Yeah. She's very sexually attracted to Ulysses S. Grant.
Well, he died of throat cancer. He was probably eating that pussy.
Probably.
Because that's the thing. When you hear anyone have died of throat cancer, it doesn't matter. They were eating that pussy, eating that ass.
100%.
So
at one point, honestly, when I'm a much older man, that's how I want to go out.
100%.
Because the legacy.
You know what I mean? Legacy.
It's important.
Ulysses S. Grant, he used to get hammered drunk, okay? He used to get hammered drunk and used to ride his horse naked through enemy lines.
What a pimp. What a pimp.
Guy would fuck around.
You know what I was watching It's Just Unfortunate on Hulu.
That's it.
Your comedy special.
Shot at the Tarrytown Music Hall in Westchester 2 years ago.
I thought my favorite part of that special was going to be that it was in Tarrytown.
Yeah.
I love Westchester so much. But you know what my favorite part of the special was? It was when you would go off on tangents and you'd say, I have a friend who. Yeah. And I would listen to the details to figure out who the friends are. And when I'm sitting there and I see this look on your face, like you were so happy with yourself that you did it on your special, knowing what you just did. When you were talking about getting complaints from friends and that you don't really have time for them because you have kids. But you said the one specific complaint that you got from a friend, an anonymous friend, was, I don't know, I'm having a mental health crisis. I used to do stand-up, now I have a sandwich shop. And I was crying laughing.
Joe DeRosa texted me after, and he goes, what the fuck? And I go, I didn't mention any names.
You used to do stand-up. Now he has a sandwich shop.
He goes, I thought we were having good talks. And I was like, yeah, dude, I got many friends who own sandwich shops who used to do comedy.
That wasn't about you.
It wasn't about you, dude. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it added authenticity, but also
I appreciate that.
Also a good, when you can figure out how to slam your friend on your comedy special without the audience, like the bigger audience realizing, if you just turn on a comedy special, it's like, oh, that's a funny little story.
We call that threading the needle.
I love threading the needle.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yes, that's one of those things, man. And then, that's still up there on Hulu. Bill Burr's just went up.
Yeah. Hulu's making a real play.
Every month, Hulu has put out a different special.
Yeah.
So they started in November with Jim Gaffigan. Then I think December they had Alana Glazer. January they had Roy Wood Jr. But then February, Black History Month, me.
Boom.
Because they knew the black women liked me.
That's great.
That's what they said.
They did that for them.
They did that for them.
That was
they
for
said
them.
Roy Wood is black, yes. But he's not doing Black History Month.
Look at the hair on this guy.
Exactly. Black women like that hair. Not Danielle. Danielle hasn't watched it. But the security guards,
she's Caucasian.
They watch it. She's Caucasian. She's not interested.
No.
She's watching Bill Burr. She's watching others.
That's right.
But black women.
She likes Roy Wood Jr.
She does like Roy Wood. I bet she does. Yeah.
But
what?
Black women.
Are you kidding me? I'm actually very excited to leave this building because the way that I feel when I leave is great. Because I definitely don't get that at home.
Will you say something to her on the way out? Like, hey, thanks for helping out.
I would say like you made me feel good or something like that.
You will tell her that.
I'd say I would kiss you on the lips, but I think this is a cold sore.
That's smart. Because then she's going to know you're sensitive too.
Yeah, it's going to sensitive. And it's like, just get it out of the way. I do have herpes.
You don't get compliments at home?
No, I get more of when are we buying the house? When is this nightmare going to end?
Sure, I
get
get
more
that.
of that. So if you want some
That's
cultures,
been 2 years of a
that,
nightmare.
Might consider that a compliment. It depends culturally. Everyone's different. But here in American culture, you know, when is this nightmare going to end is usually not a good thing.
No, usually not.
My 3-year-old loves it. My 3-year-old's like, she's just on my side.
Cool. She loves,
She loves it. She doesn't know what's going on. She's having a good time. We're going to the park every day.
Right.
You know, my 3-year-old we just sit there, and my 3-year-old likes to watch CSI, and that's what we do.
That's CSI.
Yeah, she likes to watch that.
I didn't know that was like a show for 3-year-olds.
You know the show Yellow Jackets, where they land in the woods and eat each other?
Of course, I love
Obsessed, my 3-year-old.
The 3-year-old loves Yellow Jackets.
She loves to watch people eating each other.
No, yeah, that's weird, because like sometimes I have The Office on, and I wonder if some of the jokes are a little too much for my 8-year-old.
No, yeah.
So the 3-year-old watching Yellow Jackets is a wild thing.
We were watching David Blaine the other day. David Blaine's got a good show out on Hulu.
He's got a show?
He's got a show. It's called Do Not Attempt or something like that. It's great. And there's this one thing where he's putting a sword that's on fire up his nose. And my 3-year-old turns around and goes, "You can't do that."
You're like,
I was like, you know, right? I can't. You know, I can't. I said, you know what I can do? Move my show down to the theater. I could do that all day. That's a magic trick. Hey, you want to see magic trick?
Yeah.
Look at this. Boom. You think I'm in the arena? Bang. Theater.
I'm going to sit there and pack Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Theater.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about doing is making a promo to announce. My agent says you don't have to announce that you're going to be in the theater because everyone's just going there. I said, yeah, but I have to. Come on. I have to say that I'm going to the theater.
Because we all heard the arena. You were so loud about it.
I know.
But you have to be.
Hey, you ever?
I love that promo you did with the kid, and you play your dad. And
I'm going to continue to do that.
We're
just going to, at the end of it, ... Theater.
I love, by the way, if that's the name of the show, ... theater.
Yeah. We'll change the whole
live
thing
at Madison Square Garden. I would wear a shirt. It's like Chrissy D, live at Madison Square Garden. ... theater.
Yeah. So that might be the merch. We've discussed this. And you know, dude, hey, I'm the guy. I'll do promo. I'll say I'm going to the theater, and then I'll just have someone cracking egg on my face. Have someone make an omelet on my face.
That's fun.
You'll do it. I'll lean into it all. My agent said, don't mention it. I said, well,
it's mentioned.
It's on. I thought that this was taped.
It's not.
We're out there live to the airwaves.
Yeah, it's not taped.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And the fact that it went out live means that when the tape version comes out, still not cutting it.
Not cutting it, dude.
You know, can't do it.
And so you gotta. I mean, what is this guy just reading a book?
He is. He reads a book while the show's on. When he gets bored, he reads.
What the hell are you shouting out Muhlenberg College for?
Well, we need representation.
Small
school.
What are you reading?
This is the list of drops to grab from the show.
Oh, got it. All right.
Right.
That's good.
So you probably said a lot of funny stuff.
I'm in here doing Madison Square Garden theater, and you're reading drops.
Herpes, chlamydia, Nicole, Ulysses S.
He's listening.
No genital herpes, though, just on the lip, if that is a confirmed cold sore.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It could not be, though. I asked ChatGPT, and it said it could be, it could not be. I've been rubbing it down with Vaseline, and I'm seems like I'm okay.
What do you do with when you pop a cold sore on a lip? Do you kiss the kids or you don't kiss the kids?
Don't kiss the kids.
Smart. Oh, that's great.
I don't want to give the kid. I don't want to give the kids a cold sore.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, that's smart. That's smart. You got to be, because some people selfish. They don't care.
Selfish fucks.
Yeah. And then these kids, they get these cold sores when they're little kids, and then boom.
Ready for this?
Yeah. Wow. There it is.
Nice.
There it is. That's dedicated to everyone.
That was everyone around.
That was for everyone.
Yeah. Danielle doesn't like this. I apologize.
Well, it's okay.
You okay with that? I apologize.
I wasn't even looking at what
okay, sorry.
I was
kind of
He passed a little gas.
Oh,
yeah.
Why would I mind that?
She passes a lot of gas. She's constipated.
It happens.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Testing is sometimes a necessity.
You get a colonoscopy?
No.
You got to get it. I urge everyone. I've gotten 2 already. I'm 40. I've gotten 2. You're 22?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a mean thing.
Never too young. No, you're never too young for a colonoscopy.
It's just the way you said that. You're 22? That's it's mean. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, but I didn't mean that. I didn't mean...
That's how it came across.
Ask me again. Do it over.
Okay, she's 22 years old.
Wow.
Wait. That's worse. You made that a little worse.
Sorry.
You made that a little worse.
All right, do it again.
Okay. No, Danielle, she's only 22 years old.
Hey.
Okay,
I think the first one was fine.
Okay.
Okay, the last one was a little creepy.
You're 22. Ew. Right?
Yeah.
No?
I don't think so.
22, that's a great age. Do you know that at 22, Alexander Hamilton from
the musical.
Yeah.
Alexander Hamilton from the musical, the Colonial Army. He was a general in George Washington's Colonial Army fighting the Redcoats at 22. And here you are working for Sam Roberts.
Well, she's interning.
Oh, sorry, right. So you're not getting paid. Okay.
But still.
Alexander Hamilton, though, at 22 is on the face of your $10 bill.
Yeah.
So that was 22. He was leading troops against the Redcoats in September 1776, 1777.
Yeah, but big deal. Did Alexander Hamilton have a notes app that he's been keeping since he was 13 years old of all his pet peeves?
No.
Because Danielle's been keeping all her pet peeves since she was 13.
So what we call that, there's a little thing we like to call autism.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay. Okay, that makes...
You never know.
Could be, right?
Could be.
Could be. That's perfectly fine.
I respect you. I respect it, Danielle. I respect the energy.
So you think Westchester is the place?
It feels like the place. Again, we put in an offer. We'll see.
Right.
It does feel like the place. The thing I have to grapple with is moving the children schools again.
Yeah, but Westchester has the best schools.
They do have great schools, but my stepson is a freshman in high school. So it's tough to make him the new kid as a sophomore.
But he's coming from Queens?
Yes.
So he's coming from the city into Westchester.
That's cool.
Like he's going to be the cool kid.
Danielle, you think it's cool as a young lady, as a 22-year-old lady? Okay. Yes. And then
like if you go into a suburban school district and you're like, oh yeah, no, that's the new kid. He's from Queens.
That's cool.
Instant credibility.
Right. They like that.
They like that.
Better
That's
sophomore year than junior or senior.
Sophomore. If we're gonna do it sophomore year.
Sophomore.
And then my 9-year-old daughter, she loves it. She goes, I can't wait to be the new kid. I love to reinvent myself. At 9. That's what
awesome.
she said.
That sounds like you.
That's what she said. Yeah. We have the same personality. As Jasmine has said, the only child I really truly worry about is our 9-year-old because she's you, a clone of you, personality-wise.
Oh,
she
boy.
looks like Jasmine.
But she
acts
got
like
your
me.
personality.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's going to be crazy. And so we got to watch her and try to keep her in line if we can, because she is wild but she's great. She's like a leader, and it's amazing. But she has said she wants to reinvent herself, and my 3-year-old has just been like, as long as I can watch shows where there's cannibalism.
Sure, they have Yellow Jackets in Westchester.
As long as they have Yellow Jackets in Westchester,
it should be fine.
She's good.
So what made you an insane person in your insane phase?
Oh yeah, right. So like.
Because that's when, like, didn't you spend like $100,000 on a watch or something like that?
Yeah, but it's an appreciating asset, and it wasn't $100,000.
Okay,
it was much cheaper.
Oh, that's good then.
But here's the thing: I bought this watch right here.
Beautiful watch.
I bought that watch. That's the only thing I've ever bought, like a jewelry watch, because this is fucking Queen Center Mall.
Sure.
You know, this is $600 maybe.
Yeah.
This is a real actual asset. You buy a watch like this, retail.
It's a Patek, isn't it?
No, this is a
AG?
Audemars Piguet.
Yeah.
AP.
AP.
So you buy so you buy something like this, and then you spend a little bit of money on it, but then it appreciates in value like a home.
Right.
So as soon as I walked out of the store, doubled in value. So appreciating asset, but it's the only thing I've ever bought in all my career, years of doing comedy. I've only ever bought one thing, and it's this. And it was after I sold out Radio City. I said, you know what? Treat yourself. You're buying a new house.
I like that.
You know, you're moving.
I'm with it.
Get a watch. So that's the one thing I bought.
Yes. You had a great run at Radio City and then the theater.
At MSG, which we might be returning to September 11th.
Right.
Just to come back.
It's an appreciating. Then I love that.
Then I love it. I haven't bought anything that's depreciating. My cars I lease. I've a family vehicle and a personal vehicle.
Sure.
We lease those puppies.
Sure.
So that's a depreciating asset. I just try to I try not to spend my money unless it's buying and selling homes.
When you first started
less.
When you first started getting good money, did you have a problem with it, or were you always like, I'm not gonna go crazy?
No,
ever?
I had to learn. Nobody in my family has ever made more than like $60,000. So like not that that's poor, but nobody's ever made money. So I've had to learn the hard way and make humongous mistakes with my money, as I did buying and selling these homes for less.
Sure.
And putting money in Bitcoin and things.
You put a lot of money in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I just said, you know what, I'm going for it.
Right. It went up again. Were you still in when it went up?
I still went up, and I said, listen, I was getting, when for a while there I was getting my financial advice from a man named Tank Sinatra. So
I think I know him from Instagram.
Yeah, who's amazing, by the way, who's a crypto king.
Yeah, I just wouldn't. I didn't know he was a financial guy.
But it's amazing when I would be FaceTiming with him, asking him genuine, stuff, asking genuine financial advice, and he's telling me about crypto while he's, in his backyard in Long Island, no shirt on, hosing himself down because he's jacked and ripped. And I was like, this is the guy we're putting our family's money with.
Right. I would have thought like Dave Ramsey or something like that. But you went Tank Sinatra.
So, but Bitcoin, it's okay. We're still there. We're still okay. But I've made a lot of mistakes. I feel like I'm at a point in my life now where I've made so many mistakes that I now know how to give give better advice to my kids and myself. And we're definitely going to make more mistakes. But I know now what's important, what's not.
Yes.
What is the good move? What's the bad move? When I'm getting just too much anxiety, and when now I can identify it. When it's like, hey, do you really want to do this, or are you just nervous?
Well, we've made terrible mistakes because of this feeling.
Yes,
so, I can identify it first.
And also now, you know what? Now here, you know what? Another thing now.
Tell me.
Peace. Peace. And you know what peace sometimes means? Being bored. That's okay.
Right. Quiet.
You'd rather
Sit.
have that. You don't want high octane all the time.
No,
You're gonna get in
no.
trouble. You're going to get in trouble
because you don't leave any time to think.
No.
These are thoughtful decisions that get made.
Boredom. Look at a river. It's okay.
River.
If, like you said, if every show's not 100% sold out slammed, you're not a failure. 60%, move it to the theater.
Big deal.
That's it.
In that specific. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, you felt so good the last time you were in that theater.
Yeah.
You bought an AP. Okay?
Exactly.
Don't let that get taken away from you.
Yes.
Because old Tommy Cigars.
Right.
Is popping from arena to arena to arena.
Yeah.
Everybody tells a different story of success.
Exactly. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter.
No.
So you say to yourself, be peaceful. That could be boring. Life is great. Don't worry about it.
You got a great family.
Not everything's 100% home run all the time.
Look at the success story of your comedy career. Look at the success story of you and your fiance. Mm-hmm. That wasn't supposed to work out.
Exactly, and it did.
Still might not.
And through 2 years, right. Statistically, says it most likely won't.
Right.
Statistically, what it says is you're going to buy this house in Westchester, you pay taxes for 15 years.
Yes.
You get your youngest through high school.
Right.
And then you sell the house and get divorced like everybody else.
Right.
That's what you do.
And by the way, that's a great life.
That's a great life. And hey, honey, what's up? It's all good. I'll still be young enough, right?
Right.
You'll be young enough. It's all good. It's all good. What you say to yourself, though, is, look, I've been through 2 years of just a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of why did I make that choice? But yet, on the outside, oh, Chrissy's doing well. I got this going on. I got that going on. Inside, dying, turmoil.
Right.
Don't want to be here.
Right.
So now you say, hey, you don't judge a book by its cover.
No.
Things are not what they seem.
For everyone.
For everyone. So
Right.
I've learned this the hard way. So now I say to myself, hey, you got a lot of great things in your life. Be happy with what you got. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Benjamin Franklin. What did he say about George Washington? Why was George Washington a great general? Because what George Washington was different about him than other generals at the time.
The teeth, the wooden teeth.
Uh-huh. Also died of throat cancer.
Oh, so you know what he was doing?
100%. Uh-huh. He was fucking absolutely, dude. Oh, yeah. He was eating Molly Pitcher's ass.
Oh, yeah, he was.
So what you say to yourself, what George Washington said, what Benjamin Franklin said about George Washington, and you take these words and you move forward with them, is George Washington, his thing was he saw things as they were, not as he wishes they were. So rather than other generals would say, I'm not going to retreat because I wish that we were doing better, where George Washington saying, no, we're going to retreat because we're not doing better.
Right.
We're going to lose, so we need to retreat. I wish I was sold out at the arena. Guess what? I'm not. We're going to retreat.
We're going to retreat.
Theater. George Washington.
And on September 11th, you're going to be able to look at a sold-out room of people, full of people having fun, instead of looking at a bunch of empty seats going,
right,
I'm going to lose my shirt on this.
Right, because this is something they probably taught you at Muhlenberg.
Right.
Winston Churchill, success is not final. Ready for this? Failure is not fatal. Fuck. The courage to continue, that counts.
Boom.
That's it. That's History Hyenas right there.
And that's what they got in Westchester, too. Do I got to let you go?
Yeah, what time is it? I got to go.
It's 10:25.
Yeah, I got to be at the podcast 5 minutes ago.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Giannis is sitting there waiting. Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, get History Hyenas. Get your tickets to whichever room, by the way, in Madison Square Garden. Doesn't matter.
You're coming to the same building. There'll be a security guard there telling you to go to upstairs or downstairs. 99% you're going downstairs.
Okay. Okay. Get the tickets for it either way. You go to chrisdcomedy.com. Get on board with History Hyenas. Check out the Chrissy Chaos podcast. It's very interesting. You're on the road.
Yeah.
It's almost more of a show than a podcast.
And we've made it Sunday nights, and my new thing now is check in for the next few weeks because I promised my mom I won't curse for Lent, so I'm doing clean comedy till Easter Sunday.
Wow.
So that's
clean comedy till Easter Sunday.
So there is no cursing coming out of this potty mouth. Even though I know I said a couple of F-bombs here, but specifically in stand-up, I'm not cursing.
Perfect. You got to come back more often.
Hey, dude, I'll come back as much as I can.
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
Man. All right.
All right. We'll be right back. Stay there.